The rise of a sultan. In the year 1520, the Ottoman throne passed to a young prince named Suleiman. At just 26 years old, Suleiman inherited an empire that already spanned from the Balkans to the Arabian Peninsula. Yet the foundations laid by his father, Suleiman, were only the starting point. Unlike many rulers who focused solely on preservation, Suleiman sought expansion, reform, and cultural refinement. Suleiman was educated in the palace schools of Istanbul, trained in governance, law, and military tactics from a young age. His deep understanding of both Islamic tradition and imperial administration shaped his vision of rule. From the moment he ascended to power, his leadership style combined military aggression with intellectual sophistication. Military conquests and expansion. Suleiman's reign is often remembered for its military successes. His campaigns redefined the empire's borders and positioned the Ottomans as a dominant global power. In 1521, Suleiman captured Belgrade, a key fortress city controlling the gateway to Central Europe. The conquest of Rhodes followed in 1522, after a long and difficult siege. This victory granted the Ottomans full control of the eastern Mediterranean and eliminated a strategic base of Christian military orders. Perhaps Suleiman's most famous victory came in 1526 at the Battle of Mohacs. There, his forces crushed the Hungarian army in a swift and devastating battle that lasted only hours. This defeat shattered Hungary as a powerful kingdom, opening Central Europe to Ottoman influence. Suleiman's expansionist ambitions were not limited to land. His naval commanders, such as Barbarossa Hayreddin Pasha, secured Ottoman dominance over the Mediterranean. Major naval victories against the Spanish and Venetian fleets allowed Ottoman ships to control critical maritime trade routes. By the 1530s, the empire's reach extended deep into North Africa, large parts of Eastern Europe, and the heartlands of the Middle East. Though the siege of Vienna in 1529 ultimately failed, it demonstrated the empire's unprecedented ability to project power into Europe's core. The lawgiver, Kanuni Sultan Suleiman. While his military conquests were significant, Suleiman's domestic reform cemented his legacy. Within the empire, he was known as Kanuni, the lawgiver. His contributions to Ottoman legal structure were as important as his military victories. Suleiman recognized the challenges of ruling over a multi-ethnic, multi-religious population. Under his guidance, Ottoman law was codified and systematized. His legal reforms balanced Islamic Sharia law with customary practices and sultanic decrees, creating a coherent legal framework that governed daily life, commerce, property rights, and criminal justice. Land ownership policies were clarified, and tax collection was standardized across the empire. Local leaders retained limited autonomy, but imperial authority remained supreme. Suleiman's legal codes ensured that both Muslims and non-Muslims were subject to a centralized judicial system, enhancing fairness and reducing corruption. Architectural and cultural brilliance. Beyond law and conquest, Suleiman's reign marked an era of cultural and artistic flourishing. The imperial capital, Istanbul, transformed into one of the world's most magnificent cities. Mimar Sinan, the chief imperial architect, oversaw the construction of monumental structures that still dominate the Istanbul skyline today. The Suleimani Mosque, constructed between 1550 and 1557, became a symbol of Ottoman architectural excellence, blending grandeur with subtle elegance. Bridges, aqueducts, palaces, and public baths were also built throughout the empire, showcasing Ottoman engineering and aesthetics. Literature thrived under Suleiman's patronage. Poets wrote in Ottoman Turkish, Persian, and Arabic, exploring themes of love, mysticism, and imperial glory. Calligraphy reached new heights as scribes perfected the art of Arabic script. Manuscript illumination, ceramics, textiles, and metalwork reflected the diverse artistic influences within the empire, from Central Asia to the Mediterranean. The imperial court became not just a center of power, but a beacon of culture, drawing scholars, artists, and architects from across 3 continents. Economic power and trade routes. The empire's economy prospered during Suleiman's reign, fueled by control over vital trade routes connecting the East and West. The Ottoman Empire served as a commercial bridge between Europe and Asia, facilitating the flow of spices, silk, precious metals, and luxury goods. Major trading cities like Istanbul, Aleppo, Cairo, and Baghdad bustled with activity. Caravanserais and market complexes supported both local commerce and long-distance trade. Ottoman control over the Red Sea and Persian Gulf further secured their dominance in the lucrative spice trade, as goods from India and Southeast Asia passed through Ottoman territories before reaching Europe. Agriculture, too, thrived under Suleiman's centralized policies. The empire's diverse climates, from the fertile plains of Anatolia to the Nile Delta, provided a stable supply of grains, fruits, and livestock. Economic growth reinforced the empire's military strength, administrative efficiency, and cultural development. Palace intrigue and internal challenges. Yet beneath the surface of wealth and power, challenges persisted. The imperial court became a center of intrigue, with rival factions competing for influence over the Sultan. Hurrem Sultan, known in Europe as Roxolana, became one of the most influential figures in Suleiman's court. As his legal wife and mother of several of his children, her influence extended deep into political affairs. Her rise contributed to bitter power struggles within the palace. One of the most tragic episodes of Suleiman's reign was the execution of his eldest son, Prince Mustafa, in 1553. Accused of plotting a rebellion, Mustafa's death shocked the empire. Many believed palace intrigue, led by Hurrem Sultan and her allies, played a role in his downfall. This act weakened the succession line and exposed the vulnerabilities of the dynastic system. The Janissary Corps, once elite and loyal soldiers, began to accumulate political power. Their growing influence would pose significant challenges for Suleiman's successors in the decades ahead. The final campaign and Suleiman's death. In 1566, at the age of 72, Sultan Suleiman led his army on a final campaign against the fortress of Sijidvar in Hungary. Despite his age and health, he chose to lead from the field. During the siege, Suleiman died in his tent, likely from natural causes. His death was kept secret until the fortress fell and the army could return to Istanbul without chaos. His body was later buried near the Suleymaniye Mosque, in a grand mausoleum that reflected both his power and legacy. With his death, an era closed. Though the empire remained vast and influential, no subsequent sultan would match the personal leadership, vision, or charisma of Suleiman the Magnificent. Legacy of Suleiman and the Golden Age. Suleiman's reign is regarded by historians as the peak of Ottoman civilization. His military achievements expanded the empire to its greatest territorial extent. His legal reforms provided stability and unity. His patronage of the arts produced a cultural legacy that continues to define Turkish and Islamic heritage. The monuments he built, the laws he enacted, and the victories he won transformed the Ottoman Empire into one of the most powerful and sophisticated civilizations of the early modern world. Today, Suleiman the Magnificent stands not only as a symbol of conquest, but as a figure representing justice, culture, and enduring imperial power. So, what are your thoughts on this topic? Could you leave a comment? Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, like, and share my videos.